In 5 races at the Red Bull Ring in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, we have had 5 different drivers winning from 5 different teams. Today, we have a chance to make that 6 different drivers from 6 different teams as a new team starts on pole position here at the Red Bull Ring. Welcome everyone to round 7, race 2. On pole position, the birthday boy, Alessandro Giusti, celebrates his 18th birthday today, and for the second time this season, he starts at the front of the grid, looking to make it 6 different winners from 6 different teams here at the Red Bull Ring. Starting alongside him, Mercedes Junior Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who said to me earlier that he's looking to attack early in the race whilst the car has a lot of fuel in and whilst the tyres are still getting up to temperature. So get ready for that early attack from Kimi Antonelli. Likewise, Santiago Ramos suffered a lot of penalties yesterday with track limits. He starts P3 today, looking to put RPM on the podium. And Sami Megatunev carrying his tribute helmet to Delano Bantov this weekend. He starts P4, a big cheer coming from MP as he was the last car across the line in qualifying this morning and went second in group to put himself P4 overall on the grid. The grid is going to look a little bit different to what it did earlier. For those of you who were tuning in live, we had some penalties post-session. A couple going to Hadrian David and Giovanni Maschio for contact with Michael Belov. And then there were a lot of track limit penalties which were awarded post-session, and that has changed the order ever so slightly. The big sufferers were Tom Leben and Maceo Capietto, both dropping 12 places on the grid. They find themselves now down in 19th and 22nd respectively. Well, there you can see the grid is now being cleared. The drivers left with their mechanics and their own thoughts and each other on the circuit as we get ready for this 30-minute race. It's going to be an absolute cracking one, I'm sure. Yesterday, it was a very tough challenge for the drivers out there. It was out front Rafael Camara who got a lead early on, established it and controlled the race from there. Alessandro Giusti lost second place through the first corner. Once he got back into second, the gap was 2 seconds. He was unable to close back in on Rafa Camara, but he and Camara escaped from the rest of the field. So Giusti is going to be on pole for G4 Racing. Andrea Kimi Antonelli alongside Santiago Ramos and Sami Megatunev make it 4 different teams in the top 4, and we have 6 different teams in the top 6 with Martini Stenshorn in P5 and Owen Tangavellu in P6. Then it's Nikhil Bora and Tim Tramnitz, Havercourt and Camara. Yesterday's winner round out the top 10, Masson and Dirksen just outside the top 10. Dirksen there looking to get himself back inside the points. 3 points finishes for him so far this season. Then we have Lorenzo Flusha in a close fight for P6 overall in the championship. Lorenz van Hoopen, who was in the points back at Paul Ricard, he comes next, and it's Victor Bernier, Roman Belinsky on row 8, Michael Belov, who suffered that contact, he's on row 9, with Hadrian David, who took a 2-place grid drop. Tom Leben, who dropped 12 places with that track limits penalty, is on row 10, with Pierre Alexandre Provost, who got his best qualifying result then. Bruno Del Pino and Maceo Capietto. After that, it's Coulin and Fittipaldi Jr. Zagazeta and Ferg comes next, and it's Ravesh and Armand. Then we have Clemenco and Caliscado Jr., Carlson and Maschio. 15-second board going up. Then we will begin the formation lap for round 7, race 2. When they grid up next time around, it will be 30 minutes plus the additional lap on the clock as Alessandro Giusti leads us away. We had a couple of slow starters in the middle of the field yesterday. Let's hope we don't have anything similar today, but it was Alessandro Giusti, the driver in his position, who got away better. That was Rafael Camara. He was the driver on pole position yesterday, and he got a better launch, better spin off the line, starting on the cleaner side of the circuit and led up towards the first corner. And Tim Tramnitz, who was tucked in behind him, managed to get the run on Giusti, who started on the dirty side of the circuit at the inside where Kimi Antonelli finds himself today. So Kamara, who was our winner yesterday, finds himself 10th on the grid. We have a three-way fight for the championship, I think it's fair to say. Now at this stage, leading the way in the standings is Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Finds himself in a good position points-wise, has extended his lead and said to me earlier that the goal was to look at extending that further. He's on 199 points with Martinius Stenchorn on 181 points, so an 18-point difference between them. And then Tim Tramnitz is on 161 points. So Tim Tramnitz brought the gap down to 20 points to Martinius Stenchorn, 38 to Andrea Kimi Antonelli. 38 between the top three. There's just 2 points in the teams championship between RHGP and Kramer Racing. We have 3 rounds to go. After this, we go to Monza next week. And then after that, we go to Zandvoort on the 14th and 15th of October. And then the week after that, we end the season with our first ever visit to Hockenheim. Don't forget, we have the push-to-pass system in Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. They get to use it 5 times throughout the race. We don't know when they're using it, so the drivers don't know when each other are using it. It lasts for 15 seconds when they click the button on the steering wheel. They have to be in 4th gear to use it, and it becomes available at the completion of lap 1. If there's a safety car, then it will become available as soon as they cross the start-finish line. Let's see, as Kimi Antonelli said to me earlier, he's looking to take advantage of that early in this race. Alessandro Giusti will know that, and he will perhaps start to use it in defense. But, of course, this is a 30-minute race. Giusti will know that, and you've got to leave some available by the time you get to the end of the race. If there's a late safety car and you have no push to pass, you could be a sitting duck come the end of the race. Some ones to watch a little bit further down. Rafa Kamara controlled the race yesterday. He's down in P10, and then we've got the 2 drivers who suffered grid penalties as well in Tom Leben and Maceo Capietto, both dropping 12 places. So let's keep an eye out on them, starting in 19th and 22nd. Hadrian David, also a winner round here. He starts down in 18th place. Almost set to go, 32 cars out there in total as we get ready to go racing round the Red Bull Ring. Green flag goes at the back of the field. To the left of screen is Andrea Kimi Antonelli. To the right of screen is Alessandro Giusti. And we are go for round 7, race 2. Santiago Ramos has stalled it. Let's hope everyone can avoid him. He's managed to get going. So Santiago Ramos dropping all the way to the back. One of the G4 cars didn't get going either. So a real shame there. Santiago Ramos dropping all the way down the field as that looked like Jesse Carrasquillo. Giusti trying to take the lead as they make their way up towards turn 3, or hold on to the lead. Sami Megatunov to the right of picture, trying to go round the outside of Giusti. Looks like he's managed to do that. In fact, gone too deep on the brakes. Kimi Antonelli made it 3 wide as they now come down towards turn 4. We've got a spinner there, one of the KIC cars making contact here. We could see an intervention early in this race. One of the Prema cars was on the grass. Giusti leads. Megatunov, who's gone past Kimi Antonelli. Antonelli now under pressure from what, oh no, that's Marcus Armand, who's got suspension damage to the front left. It's Martinius Stenchorn for RHGP going round the outside of turn 6, and a safety car is deployed. So Martinius Stenchorn taking 3rd place from championship rival Andrea Kimi Antonelli. And we see an intervention from the safety car straight away in this race. That's going to keep the field bunched up together. Yesterday, there was absolutely 0 safety cars. That allowed Rafael Kamara to escape early. Today, that will not be the case. There is Marcus Armand. The main thing is that he's okay. He's out the car and walking away. This will be good news to Santiago Ramos, who had a slow getaway. Just looking down the field, Santiago Ramos finds himself in 25th place. Just looking down the order, Maya Verg, I think, was the KIC car involved. Levi Ravesh down in 30th, so he didn't have a good start to the race, nor did Emo Fittipaldi Jr. He's dropped some places as well. I think those 4 drivers are the ones in some problems. Coming into the pits is Maya Berg. It's not been a good day for her at all. She found herself spinning coming out of the first corner in qualifying. Let's look back at it then. So to the right of screen, second in queue, there's Santiago Ramos, there's the stall. Tim Tramnitz was the other car, really slow away, gets swallowed up by the pack. So that's bad news for Tim Tramnitz trying to fight for this championship. He tumbles down the order. Now we're going to see Giusti side by side with Antonelli. Antonelli running him all the way to the edge of the circuit. Giusti taking to the runoff there, stays side by side. There is the contact with Maya Berg. She, I think, had contact with one of the Arden cars, which would have been Levi Ravesh. That sent her spinning into the path of Marcus Armand. And Marcus Armand there, I think that was a case of wrong place, wrong time, possibly. There is the contact for Armand, and that sees him out of the race, and he's left sitting on, watching like the rest of us. Safety car is in this lap. Now, Tim Tramnitz, who had a bad start, is down in 16th. It's an F1 point system, so it goes down to the top 10, so he has to get a move on early doors. Remember, push to pass, which hasn't been active now in this race, becomes available as soon as they cross that start-finish line. Here we go, we're racing once again for round 7, race 2 in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine here at the Red Bull Ring. They come across the line to resume the race. It's Alessandro Giusti leading from Sami Megatunov, Martini Stenchorn is third, Andrea Kimi Antonelli is fourth, and then Esteban Masson up from P11 to P5, the Flying Frenchman in 5th place, Nikhil Bora in P6 as they make the run down towards turn 3. Owen Tangavelu 7th, then it's Havercourt, Van Hoopen, Lorenzo Flusha, who's all over the back of Lorenz Van Hoopen. In towards turn 3, Kaz Havercourt trying to go round the outside of Owen Tangavelu, couldn't quite do it. Lorenzo Flusha trying to make a move as well. One of the MP cars, that's Victor Bernier, delayed out the corner. Rafa Kamara, 0-0 sadly in terms of race results. Winner yesterday in the pit lane today. What a shame for him, but he can leave happy with his efforts this weekend. He's driven superbly to take that win yesterday. Let's go back to the leader today, Alessandro Giusti. He's built a 7/10 gap over Sami Megatunov. An inspired performance by Sami this weekend. Coming up towards the final 2 corners, still a long way to go in this race. As we see, coming up, that's Victor Bernier in the orange MP car in P14. He's got Michael Belov behind it. In fact, that's Hadrian David, apologies, behind him. Coming down towards turn 10. There's Tim Tramnitz in the white and black R-Race GP, trying to get down the inside of Hadrian David. Up towards the first corner, Niki Lauda curve. Alessandro Giusti, 0.8 of a second clear. You can see them sliding through the corner. Oh, Kaz Havercourt on the sausage curve there. The idea is to run the car all the way to the edge of that. Santiago Ramos, where is he? He's trying to make his way back through the field. He's P23. Tim Tramnitz is P16. Down through turn 3 and up the climb now over to turn 4. Good drive this from Giusti. He's breaking clear. Megatunov trying his best to keep him within arm's reach. Once again, we have Kimi Antonelli battling with an RHGP driver for the last step on the podium. This time, it's championship rival Martini Stenchorn. This would be good. This would bring the points gap between them back down to 15. There's Hadrian David in that black monolith car, trying to get on the attack. He's working his way up the order, is Hadrian David. I think he's made a place or 2 on this lap as they come up the hill now and make their way down the ascent towards turn number 9. Josh Dirksen in the red Arden car there is defending from Michael Belov. That's the battle for P12 on circuit. Here's our leader, Giusti, through Niki Lauda curve, then Megatuniv. Belinsky is at the back of this lead group. It goes all the way down to 11th place. Then there's a gap before Dirksen in 12th. Giusti's lead is now extended by another 0.4 of a second. 1.2, he set the fastest lap of the race. 0.4 quicker than Megatuniv. There you can see the winners and losers in the opening 7.5 minutes of this race. Van Hoopen up 5. Nikhil Bora has made a good start to this race as well. So has Owen Tangavelu, trying to match the best result he's ever had in this championship as they come down towards turn number 4. Defending, I think there was Lawrence Van Hoopen from Lorenzo Flusha in the red and white Prema racing car. A little bit further back, more battling going on. That was Hadrian David, I think, with Matteo Capietto in the RPM car, trying to get around the outside of him, couldn't quite get through. There we see Roman Belinsky. Great pace from him this weekend. Got some good points yesterday, got his best result of the season with 7th. Just outside the points so far today in 11th. Downhill, Kimi Antonelli trying to chase after Stenshorn. There is Owen Tangavelu. Solid start for him, as I said. Dropped a place, but nevertheless, keeping up there in the top 10. That would have been the plan. Esteban Masson has been the best starter of these top 10. Gained 6 places. He's the man on the move in the top 10. Down towards turn 3 we go. Kaz Havercourt, up a place as well. Staring at those 2 Trident drivers now. He wants to make some more. Van Hoopen, the other guy on the move as well. But he's got Flusha and Belinsky behind him. Gap 1.7 seconds. Giusti puts another fastest lap of the race in. 1:28 flat that time compared to a 1:28.3 for Megatuniv. He's breaking clear out front, and Megatuniv can't do anything in response here. Megatuniv got second at Paul Ricard. Looks like he could repeat that, but he'll want to go one better. Round turn 4, Josh Dirksen fighting with Tim Tramnitz. I heard a slide there, not too sure if we have someone off or fighting with the car. Perhaps a half spin. Tim Tramnitz trying to go side by side with Dirksen. Needs to get some points here. Was not happy with how qualifying went at all when I caught up with him earlier, and would not have been happy with the start of that race. Got a slow getaway, swallowed up by the pack, dropped down, is now trying to recover slowly. 14th so far. Oh, and that's Flusha off in the background, ran wide at the last corner. Just looking out the window to see him across the line. He's got Roman Belinsky right behind him now. Wait for them. There they are. It's Flusha to the inside, Belinsky to the outside. Here's your chance, Roman, to get inside the top 10. Can he take it now? He'll want to grab this with both hands. The pressure is working for the Polish driver. Flusha looking in the mirrors, Belinsky trying to find a gap on the inside, almost going 4 wheels off the circuit. Breaking open the door is Roman Belinsky, but Flusha slams it shut in his face, and Roman Belinsky has to back out in the end. Great racing there, Lorenzo Flusha. Aggressive defense. Roman Belinsky would argue that was maybe too aggressive, but Lorenzo Flusha doing everything he could to hold on to that position. Now Belinsky finds himself under attack from Michael Belov. Michael Belov will like what he's seeing ahead. Those two battling away with each other. He'll see 2 places up for grabs. Less than 20 minutes plus a lap to go. There's Owen Tangavelu in the 43. Been in the points a few times already. His best result in this championship was a 6th place at Mugello last season. Oh, running slightly wide was Kimi Antonelli. Said to me earlier that this 7-week break, coming back after it was hard to get back in the rhythm again, which I think it was for all the drivers. It's a long break, jumping back in and going for qualifying, not easy at all. It was a challenge, particularly around the circuit where track limits are a major thing. Lots of high-speed corners around here and heavy braking zones like this one here. In terms of qualifying, it's arguably one of the toughest circuits. It's because of how little there is in terms of margins between the drivers. down to turn 4. We're approaching half race distance now. There is Stenshaw. That's what championship contenders do in terms of Stenshaw. Not go through turn 4 in one piece. I mean, turn it round if you haven't been with us all weekend. Qualified all the way down in 20th yesterday. Didn't really make much progress either, did Martinius. And today, looks like a transformed driver. P5 in quali, P3 in this race, right on the attack at the start. Gets past Kimi Antonelli. And in terms of the points difference between them, it would come back down, only fractionally, but it would come back down. He's got a chance to do some more about that. He's staring at Stanley Megatuniv. If he could get up to him, he could put 3 more points between himself and Kimi Antonelli. Bring that back down to 12. Esteban Masson seems to be falling away from this 5-4 second. The Santalok Racing driver, who has done a great job since joining that team, and Kaz Havakor, I think, was either on the attack or under pressure. I think it was the first. I think he was trying to attack Owen Tangavelu. Let's see, yes, he's the one on the attack. So Owen Tangavelu, there you can see he's defending the Trident driver. Just going to see what's happened to Belinsky. He has got past Flusha. We'll come back to that. Tangavelu defends from Havakor, coming down towards turn 4. Havakor doesn't get through. Belinsky is now 1.1 back from Flusha, so that battle seems to have dropped him back, and he's actually under huge pressure from Belov. Tramnitz is past Bernier and chasing after Belov. He's in 13th. Ramos is dropping down the field. He's in 19th. So not going so well in terms of his recovery. Giovanni Maschio started dead last in this race. He's up to 21st. It's one of the best performances I think he's had all season. Doing a really good job is the Italian. Up to 21st, that's a fantastic job. And I tell you what, Bruno Del Pino making this a good race for NP Motorsport as well. They've got a driver running in 2nd place. Victor Bernier might not be in the points, but is challenging for it. And then Bruno, on his first weekend racing in this championship, has moved up from 21st to 18th in this race, and that's after finishing 21st yesterday. Very impressive. Up to half race distance we come. We've settled down in this race. We're getting through some fuel now in the cars. Up in the top of shot, I think we're starting to get a battle forming for 5th place here. Giusti's lead is 2.1 seconds. Megatuniv quicker than Giusti on that last lap. You can see he's starting to break away, isn't he, from Stenshaw? There is Stenshaw, 1.1 ahead. That said, Stenshaw clearly sees a threat. Last time round he did a personal best. I'll give you some lap times. Giusti did a 1:28.2 last time. It was a 1:28.1 for Megatuniv, and then a 2 for Stenshaw, a 2 for Antonelli, and a 2 for Masson. Those guys doing personal best. The drivers 3rd to 5th. 2 rookies would be on the podium as it stands as well. Alessandro Giusti up through Niki Lauda curve. Doing a superb job so far in this race. The reigning French F4 champion, showing why he won that title. What a way this would be to celebrate his 18th birthday and make it 6 different winners from 6 different teams in this championship at this circuit. Here we see Esteban Masson, look at that, great shot, and looked like perfect line from Esteban. Kaz Havakor in the 27 continues to pile the pressure on Owen Tangavelu. Can't quite make it through so far, but he's trying everything he can, isn't he? 0.4 of a second back is Kaz Havakor. Here we see Alessandro Giusti coming out of turn 7 and 8 now. French F4 champion last year for G4 Racing, and he's helped bring G4 Racing up the team standings as well. They've done a really great job to fire themselves up the order. He and Michael Belov working really well together, and Alessandro Giusti is becoming a very exciting driver to watch in this championship. The first half of the season took him a little bit of time just to learn the car, but he is having that confidence he had that took him to the French F4 title. However, there's still a long way to go in this race. Sami Megatunev knows how to get on the podium in races like this, and he is keeping Giusti honest, isn't he? What is the gap between them? It is 1.7 seconds. That is because Sami Megatunev has just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:27.9. It is starting to come down. Sami Megatunev getting a little bit closer. There he is. As I said, an inspired performance. Got that crash helmet designed with himself and Delano Vanthof, a tribute to his friend. And it's been an inspired performance all weekend from Sami. This won't just be for him and the team. He'll really want this win. He'll be giving it absolutely everything. Came close to a win at Paul Ricard, got himself on the podium, an emotional one as the team returned to the championship after a weekend out. And now, after a few weeks away for all of us for the summer break, we all come back racing here at the Red Bull Ring. Sami Megatunev can see a race win, and he wants it. He's coming after it. You can see him coming up through Niki Lauda curve. You can see the gaps to the left of screen. There you can see what happened on the last lap. 0.2 of a second was how the gap came down. It is 1.3 now. Martinius Stenchon needs to be careful himself as well. He's being caught by Andrea Kimi Antonelli. And then Masson has done a good job actually just to settle down in terms of the battle for fifth. It looked like at one stage he was going to be under huge amounts of pressure and start dropping down the order, but he's managed to just put a little bit of breathing space between himself and the Trident drivers behind. We have two battles that could go all the way to the wire here, one for the race win, one for the last step on the podium. What about Stenchon in terms of our top two? Is he catching those two? Not quite. 128.1 for him. Top 10 is Giusti, Megatunev, Stenchon. Those are podium finishers. Just outside is going to be Antonelli. If the flag were to go now, then it would be Masson in fifth, who has Bora, Tangavellu, Havakor just behind. Flusha is ninth. Van Hoopen is in 10th. Then just after that is Belinsky in 11th place, with Belov right behind. And it's not just Belov behind, it's Tramnitz next after that as well. So Tramnitz has a chance to get himself up into the points. He's right behind the likes of Belov and Belinsky. That said, Belinsky is a couple of seconds back from Van Hoopen as well. Fastest lap goes to Sami Megatunev. Sami Megatunev quickest on track, 1:27.7. That brings the gap down to 1 second. That's the closest it's been for a long time. Alessandro Giusti, is this a case of him managing tyres, managing the race? I'm not so sure. I think Sami Megatunev has found something in that car. He wants that race win, and he's going after the Frenchman. There's Kimi Antonelli, he's 1.3 back from Stenchon. I thought at one stage he might be closing in on Martinius. Maya Verg, who had clearly rejoined the race at one stage, is back in the pit lane. Drivers we have lost include Dirksen, Ramos, and we've lost a couple of others as well. We've also lost Kamara and Armand. I appear to have lost pictures on my end, so I'll have to call them as I see them coming past me. Giusti is leading by 1 second. There he goes across. Giusti less than a second back from Sami Megatunev. As there we see Stenchon in third. Well, now I see Stenchon in third. Kimi Antonelli 4th. Esteban Masson 5th. I thought I was going to have to get the binoculars out for a second, but didn't quite have to get to that in the end. There we go. Giusti leading by just under a second from Sami Megatuniv. It's getting closer, isn't it? Gap is coming down. A little bit further down the field, Matteo Capietto has set a purple sector as well. He is trying to make his way through the field, doing a good job out there. Here we see Esteban Masson for Santilog Racing. Since jumping in that car, has done a good job. Got them onto the podium back at, or got them in the points rather, back at Spa, and then got them back onto the podium at Paul Ricard. Esteban leading the Eurocup 3 Championship as well, and is now starting to break clear from Mikel Bora, and is starting to catch Kimi Antonelli. As we get more into this race, as the fuel loads come down, as the tyre wear starts to get more and more, Esteban Masson seems to be growing in confidence in that car. And Giusti, I think the nerves are going to be growing in his car. The confidence is going to be growing in the car of Sami Megatuniv. The gap is less than 1 second. It's 9/10. I'm going to call them through the sectors. It's, well, they're pretty much joined. Oh, and that was contact between Belov and Roman Belinsky coming through turn 3 there as they rejoin. Belov ahead of Belinsky. That's a change of 11th place. It was Belinsky in 11th. Michael Belov is now 11th. Belinsky, with the use of push to pass, surely there, has just driven past Michael Belov unless he gave the place back. So 2 changes of position there, but good stuff for catching that one, for picking that one up. Someone else is in the pit lane. Didn't quite catch who that was, but I think that might be Alexandra Provost who has come through pit lane. That's a real shame if it is, because he qualified very well in 20th. Let's have a look at what's happened to Zagazeta in the red and white. Oh, well, he was trying to stay within track limits, and in doing so nearly found himself facing the wrong way. So Belinsky is back into 11th across the line. The gap's down to 0.8 of a second between Giusti and Megatuniv. Just over 5 minutes to go plus a lap, and it's come down by another 1/10 of a second. Tim Tramnis in the 77 looks in the mirrors, sees Victor Bernier, who sees Matteo Capietto behind him. Up the hill through Niki Lauda curve. There's the leaders, and that's what 0.8 of a second looks like in Freca round Red Bull Ring. Up to turn 4, 69 thousandths of a second was the difference between them in lap time last time. And Sami Megatuniv, has he saved push to pass? Has Giusti saved some? Who saved more is the question now. That's what it's going to come down to. They'll be saving it for the final laps of the race. And Sami Megatuniv will be lining this one up. Will it be turn 3? Will he try down at turn 4? Through turn 7 we go, and it's coming down even more on this lap. It's down to 0.6 of a second. Sami Megatuniv closing in on Alessandro Giusti even more. The young Frenchman flying in that MP Motorsport car. There was a huge cheer when he took that 2nd place earlier. What a cheer there would be if he could go and take a race win. It would be hugely emotional for him personally and for the team, I'm sure. He's got 4 minutes plus the additional lap to try and get past Giusti, who celebrates his 18th birthday today. What a win it would be to both of them for very personal reasons. Up towards turn 3 we go, not to mention the 25 points it comes with for the championship as well. A bit of a wiggle on the brakes there for Giusti. Almost a lock-up, kept it in one piece. Going through turn 3, half a second is the difference between them. Megatuniv gets closer and closer. Stenshorn, meanwhile, is in P3. He's 3.2 seconds back. He's 3.2 seconds ahead, rather, from Kimi Antonelli. Then it's Masson. Bora remains in P6. That would be his first points finish since round 2, if he can stay there. Tangavelu in 7th would be one of his best ever results in this championship if he can stay there. Habecourt would be a great result for him in 8th place, and would make him one of the most successful drivers in terms of points finishes, would take him to 29 overall and make him the joint 2nd most successful driver in terms of points finishes in FRECA history. Lorenzo Flusha, P9 so far, ahead of Lawrence van Hoopen, who would be back in the points. Right, there we see Giusti weaving down the straight to try and break the toe ahead of Sami Megatuniv. The two countrymen up through Niki Lauda curve. You could see them pushing all the way to the sausage curb. And it looked like Giusti got a better exit from the corner that time. Here we look at Niels Kolon to the outside of the number 55 of William Karlsson, the Swedish driver making his debut this weekend. And that was a place gained, I believe, for Karlsson going into 24th. And yes, Giusti's broken clear a little bit on this lap. So had a better run through turn 1. He's had a better run through turn 3. Either that or he's used some push to pass. Could be a combination of both. But this is where those games of chess begin. They happen all the way through the race, but this is where we see them executed in terms of who has left push to pass, who has saved them, when do they use them. Has Sami Megatuniv used all of his hump in closing this gap down? That is going to be the question. Or does he have some left to get past Alessandro Giusti and make an attack on him? It's been a superb drive all weekend from Alessandro Giusti. He's done a fantastic job to take 2nd place yesterday, take pole position today and lead this race. He's controlled it since taking the lead of it, since taking it back after a battle at the start. But Sami Megatuniv has done very well to close it down, and last time round, Alessandro Giusti was that bit quicker. However, Sami Megatuniv is getting a little bit closer. Less than a minute to go. We could be going on to the last lap of the race next time around. They come up towards turn 3 for what could be the penultimate time. Sami Megatuniv will know that. He'll know he has to make an attack now. Giusti will know that. Stenchorn will know that as well. If it all kicks off, do not count out the Norwegian driver in 3rd place as well. Great points either way for him if he finishes in P3. Down towards turn 4 we go. Kimi Antonelli comfortably in 4th. Masson holding on in 5th from the Trident drivers as well. Round towards turn 6 for the penultimate time. The G4 Racing driver leading the way, looking to keep this run going of different drivers from different teams winning around the Red Bull Ring. If I can get it out. 0.7 of a second is the difference between Giusti and Megatuniv. Down towards the penultimate corner we go. Megatuniv gets closer. There is 3rd place Martinius Stenchorn. We're about to go on to the final lap of the race. 30 minutes has been completed. One additional lap remains now as they come across the line. Does Sami Megatuniv have anything left to try and catch the birthday boy who leads the way? Alessandro Giusti takes us up to Niki Lauda curve for the final time. There we see Andrea Kimi Antonelli running in P4. He's comfortably there, the Mercedes Junior. He'll be happy with that points-wise, but what about our leaders looking out the window? Alessandro Giusti remains in the lead coming through turn 3. Here they come now out of turn 3 and up towards turn 4. Sami Megatuniv trying to get closer. It's been an inspired performance by the Frenchman either way. Back-to-back podium finishes would be an absolutely brilliant performance from the MP Motorsport driver. To stand on the podium after redesigning that crash helmet will be an emotional day for him. But Alessandro Giusti, as long as he makes no mistakes now, he will become a race winner for the 2nd time this season. Round turn 7. In 3rd place, Martinius Stenchorn will close the gap in the championship by 3 points to Andrea Kimi Antonelli. He'll take that as a result today after the misfortunes of yesterday. Down towards the final corner we come then. Alessandro Giusti on his 18th birthday makes it 6 different winners from 6 different teams in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine here at the Red Bull Ring. A second win of the season for the young Frenchman. He is on absolute fire in the second half of the season. Sami Megatunov makes it back-to-back podiums. What an inspired performance by him after redesigning that crash helmet, carrying Delano Vanthoff, and Martini Stenchorn on the podium once again. A superb drive from the Norwegian driver, takes his 9th podium of the season in the 34 car. There is Alessandro Giusti, our winner today. What a superb drive from him. Climbs himself up the championship standings even further now. And he in a battle for 6th in the championship, doing an absolutely superb job. 6 different winners from 6 different teams here at the Red Bull Ring. G4 Racing now join the likes of MP Motorsport, ART, Van Amersfoort, R-Race GP and Prema Racing as winners at the Red Bull Ring in this championship. Well done to Alessandro Giusti. He'll be very happy with that. What a way to celebrate your 18th birthday. Sami Megatunov, high emotions no doubt for him. 2nd place and back-to-back podiums. 2 Frenchmen on the podium. A great day for French motorsport in the feeder series. Martini Stenchorn in 3rd place. A great drive. What a turnaround after such a bad day for his standards yesterday. It makes it 2 rookies on the podium as well. We have some talent in this championship, don't we? Bortoletto has proven that this year. Andrea Kimi Antonelli 4th place, Masson in 5th, holding off the likes of Nikhil Bora and Owen Tangavelu. Kaz Havikort, 29 points finishes now, joining Gabriele Mini with that stat. Lorenzo Flusha in P9, Roman Belinsky, back-to-back points finishes here at Red Bull Ring. Michael Belov in 11th and Victor Bernier in 12th. Tramnitz will be disappointed with 13th, then it was Van Hoopen, Capietto, David, Lebon, Del Pino, Rivesh, Fittipaldi Jr., Zagazzetta, Maschio, Clemenco, Carlson, Coulomb, and then after that we had Cadascado, Dirksen, Alexandra Provost, Berg, Ramos, Kamara and Armand. Well, here comes Alessandro Giusti, climbs out the car and puts G4 Racing on the top step of the podium for the 2nd consecutive round. What a superb drive from Giusti. He on fire in the second half of the season, proving why he was French F4 champion. And he's starting to become very hard to beat. High emotions from Sami Megatunov. There you can see the crash helmet redesigned. Beautiful. We all race for him, but MP Motorsport particular, racing for Delano is something they will always be doing. Sami Megatunov getting that designed ahead of this weekend, and no doubt would have had that in his mind throughout the race, and drove very, very inspired, and he would have been proud watching down on Sami. 3rd place, Martini Stenchorn as well. Here is where it all started. Santiago Ramos got away poorly, stalled the car. Tim Tramnitz was the other car you see getting swallowed up. And up towards the first corner, it was Kimi Antonelli who got ahead of Alessandro Giusti coming through the first corner. Giusti would fight back. We had contact further back with Marcus Armand, Levi Rivesh and Maya Berg as well, ending what's been a really disappointing day. Marcus Armand, their Sauber Academy driver, was out of the race with front left suspension damage. Then as we got going again, it was Sami Megatunov who had jumped up into 2nd place, and he would go after trying to chase down Giusti. Stenchorn had jumped ahead of Antonelli as well in 3rd just before the safety car came out. Zagazzetta there fighting with the car coming through at turn number 9. Here we see coming through turn number 3, that was the Santilok driver of Emo Fittipaldi Jr. fighting away with Zagazzetta. This is where William Carlson went past the 68 of Niels Colon, with Jesse Cadascado Jr. watching on just behind. Good racing all the way through the field, but out front, Alessandro Giusti celebrates his 18th birthday with his second win in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. He joined on the podium by his countryman Sami Megatuniv and Martinius Stenchon, who closes the gap down to Andrea Kimi Antonelli to 15 points. 2 wins for that man in the books. How many more to follow in the next 3 rounds? We will find out, I'm sure. That won't be the last time we see him jumping out the car, jumping on top of it and celebrating like that. Well done to G4 Racing. Well done to Alessandro Giusti. A pleasure to watch, as always. Great racing all around, and now we get the celebrations underway here at the Red Bull Ring. There we see Stenchon walking out. Of course, we always get our top rookie on the podium. The only difference today is our top rookie is our overall winner. Finishing in 3rd place, you would have heard it in the background there, Martinius Stenchon on the podium for the 9th time this season. What a great first season he's having in this championship, keeping his championship hopes alive. Sami Megatuniv, great drive, his 4th visit to the podium in this championship, and Alessandro Giusti on the podium. And on the top step of it for the 2nd time, the French driver giving us 6 different winners from 6 different teams. Alessandro Giusti celebrating his 18th birthday with a race win in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Gets to spray some champagne on the top step. That's not a bad way to celebrate turning 18 years old. Here comes the trophy. This one will be one he remembers for a very, very long time, and he'll hold very close to his heart. Very nice of G4 Racing to bring out the pit board as well with the birthday celebrations on. Well done to G4 Racing, keeping the different team winners coming at this circuit. Great stuff to see. Let's get the national anthem. Well done, Alessandro Giusti. Well done, G4 Racing. Well done, Martinius Stenchon and Sami Megatuniv. And a thank you to all of you tuning in as well. There are top 3. Here come the celebrations. On his 18th birthday, Giusti gets to celebrate it in style on the podium. I'm sure the celebrations will continue as Megatuniv joins in. Great stuff all round. What a way to end round 7. And we go racing once again next weekend for round 8 at Monza. Make sure you tune in then. For now, from all of us at Red Bull Ring, it's goodbye.